Okay. Okay. You can't edit this? Okay. 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 Because we can make a mistake. Okay. 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 All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. Uh, where to start? This is my husband, Pedro Gonzalez. I am Deborah Gonzalez. We had a horrific event at the Social Security office in Las Vegas, Nevada, Buffalo office. The police really abused us in a really horrific way, and I wanted Pedro to tell his story. I'll be voicing. Um, um, December 16th, 2010, I, with my friend Drew and myself and my wife, unaware of any problems, went into the Social Security office and asked to see an interpreter so that I could get my case rectified. It's a very basic informational type request. Upon arriving, I don't know what happened. Chaos. I can't explain. I was completely out of the picture. I had no idea what was going on. A police was summoned. They came in. He was a burly gentleman who looked at me. I had done absolutely nothing, standing there. He said, "You're signing," and he started to harass me. And I was handcuffed, thrown up against the wall. I had these federal handcuffs on that were twisting my hands. They was hurting really bad. I was slapped in the face. I was pushed up against the wall, repeatedly butted against the wall. It was almost ironic. We just couldn't believe it. And then my wife and I were handcuffed and taken out of the Social Security office and brought around the corner of the outside of the office. I mean, it was unbelievable. We were sitting in chairs in for 5 hours, handcuffed, with the sun beating down on us. There was ambulance, helicopter, fire department, police officers, all for asking for an interpreter. And I, they came up to me and grabbed my chin and said, if you read lips, you better answer. And they kept pushing on my chin, grabbing hold of my chin, forcing me to read lips while my hands were cuffed, grabbing my hand. My wife was trying to negotiate with them. I had no idea what was being said at all. She was handcuffed. And I sat there, and it was very difficult because it was so painful. The handcuffs hurt so badly. I couldn't sign. I couldn't communicate. I really was being threatened with my life, and it kept on. It just went on for hours with me not having any kind of knowledge as to what was taking place, and my wife as well. No request, no knowledge, no information, no communication, and my wife was put in her cop car, in a separate cop car, and the police, summoned after a while, the police summoned the Social Security representative to read something off to me, which I couldn't understand. I had no idea what was going on, and then they said, "Get up, get out." This was after hours. They said, "Get up, get out, get out," and they took my wallet out of my pocket. They went through my wallet. They, I kept looking like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? I just couldn't imagine. And then my friend, who had been told to keep her distance, to just watch the event and wouldn't be able to help us, she could hear, and she was witnessing all of this behind metal gates, and I just couldn't believe the misconduct. There was no excuse for it, and I mean that's my story. And so after they had reported that I'd done nothing wrong. They let me go after hours of being detained. And then I took my car, which was impounded, and I went off to a hospital. I have to have special interpreters to communicate. And when I went to the hospital, the police showed up there and had me trespassed and taken out without any medical care. I am, to tell you, deathly afraid right now. And they told me if I was to go to any other hospital, they would chase me down and make sure I was trespassed from there as well. I was denied any medical care and any way to get any in Las Vegas. And so all this pain and anguish, my wife had to work. She was fired from her place of employment because she couldn't work because of her injuries. And I mean, we just couldn't. I think this was just way too much overkill for something that I had not even done. And now I live in basic fear. I'm afraid to. Wanted to talk to us, and we said no. We shut the door. I called 911. I said, What's going on? Why are police coming over the house without a warrant, threatening us in our own house? These are days and 3 days and 4 days and 5 days after the event, picking on us. About the 11th day after the event, they actually hired a locksmith to break into our house in front of my younger brother, who's deaf also, and they wanted to offer him candy so he would talk with them. And he's a college graduate. Why was candy being offered so they could talk? They kept saying the whole time, I smell a lawsuit. Thought, what the heck is going on? And they kept peering in the window, and they wouldn't leave us alone. It went on for days. And we had no way of communicating. We've been to service agencies complaining about the incident, but they won't provide interpreters either. And so the officer my husband is saying that was outside was saying, I'll give you money if you talk to me, as if my brother could hear him, and he couldn't. He just ignored him inside the house as they just surrounded our house trying to offer something. We don't know. And they kept at it for weeks and weeks. And now my husband, my wife was summoned to a federal court. We went into a federal court where the police officers appeared at the federal court. They tried to inhibit. They wouldn't allow interpreters in the federal court. My wife was summoned. They would not provide interpreters for her witness in the federal court. And everything just got compounded with just unbelievable errors. And I mean, we were looked at as common criminals and terrorists, and we had done nothing. We had done nothing. We were standing and requesting an interpreter. That's all we were doing. And the federal court ended up dismissing them because there was nothing wrong. We had done nothing. And my husband saying, if my wife were to pass on or be in the hospital, what would I do? Where would it be? It'd be really ridiculous that the officers would have this kind of misconduct. They really need training about the ignorance and the behavior that was represented that day. Once a person's identified as deaf, then there should be a response that an interpreter is provided. There shouldn't be chaos, pain, and anguish and misconduct like that. All I'm trying to do is get my Social Security information straightened out. And so the expectation is that the associated person with a disability is to provide all the accommodations and assist them, or else they are going to arrest you. It's really confounding and ridiculous and inappropriate. And to just continue to harass us day after day and not allow us, block us from returning to the Social Security office at all, banning us from the office for life. And what have we done? Absolutely nothing. And just for using American Sign Language and communicating in a native form as well. Part of the reason the federal court intervened is the officers accused me of obstructing justice by signing to my husband when all this incident took place, because I was using sign language. I was using my hands as weapons against them because I was communicating to my husband about what was going on. And so they charged this highly wrong, and police are not out to just hurt people, especially deaf people. You think that people using gang signs. I think that's what they tried to claim I was doing. I'm not a gang member. I'm deaf. And the court, they were trying to tell the court that I'm a gang member using gang signs in the Social Security office. I mean, if somebody comes in with a disfigurement, are they all of a sudden a clown and they have to be sued? I mean, this is part of the audacious ridiculousness that has took place, and it should embarrass them. It truly should. So, I just want to say to some of the community out there, if you couldn't speak and if you couldn't hear, and the police approached you and said, because of that, I'm arresting you. This is the concept I wanted to share with you. Obviously, that's not okay. And to force somebody to say you're either lip reading or going to jail is highly inappropriate, because there is no way to do that. I mean, we've heard of cases where 3-year-olds were using sign language names, and they were told they were threatening with a gun because the way they signed. So there's different belief systems about this out there, but this is out of justice. What kind of communication I need, or what I will do, or how I will do it. I'm a proud individual, and I don't need somebody to tell me. I mean, it's really highly instinctively bad and ignorant as all get out to do that. So I guess that's basically what we're addressing, and the Social Security issues are still continuing because they still won't provide interpreters. I just recently went back to the Social Security office because I have no way to solve my case, and they have prevented me from even gaining access to my benefits. I'm entitled to benefits. They're part of what I worked for and earned, and what I did, and how I related to life. I'm not somebody who's ignorant and dumb. I know what to do. I know I have a right to benefits, and I try to take care of them, and I can take care of them, but with the right accommodation. So I know what paperwork to file and how to protect myself according to the Americans with Disabilities Act and the 504 Vocational Rehabilitation Act. Most deaf people know those laws because they protect them. And I don't call people that are disabled handicapped. That's not a word that we use anymore. We use disability. And my wife is disabled as well, which makes it even complicated. But what I'm trying to say is I hope that you can understand me. And I want to thank all for watching, but it's just insane what we went through, and we have no explanation, and we have suffered this long, and we are being denied benefits because of this event that police took upon to cite us for doing nothing wrong. That's all.